Are we ready? Okay. For the next 3 hours, we are going to sit here now. Everyone is laughing at me. कुछ भी मत बोलो. आप बैठे रहो, हम जा रहे बस में से कहीं आगे जाते. Okay, we'll be here for around another half an hour maybe, right? And then we move to the next location. That's the plan. I hope you had prasadam. Pasta was nice. Nice. Yummy. Okay, cheek. So we'd like to thank those devotees who extended to cook the pasta yesterday for us, and they packed it and they brought it for us. We are grateful to them. Camping is just not visiting places. Prasadam also plays a good role there, right? So we'd like to thank who actually we should name them. Gaurav Prabhu. Hi, thank you, all of you. Hi. Even for the morning prasad we should thank. That was Sudama ke pohe. We should thank for that also. Sudama ke pohe also nourished us. Okay. So I was told that I can speak something on the lessons from the story of pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. Okay. So Dhruva Maharaj's pastime comes in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the story is very special for ISKCON also. Right? Because like all of us, we get to see Srila Prabhupada books in complete volumes now. Srimad Bhagavatam, entire Srimad Bhagavatam available in one carton. All the books are available at one place. But there was a time in ISKCON when Prabhupada was around, all these books would come in chapter form. One chapters would come. Because as Prabhupada would record, the cassettes would be sent to LA. In LA, devotees would hear and type. And as they would type, printouts were taken, and one chapter would come out. And then, as Prabhupada would say, 8 chapters becomes one book. So then whole thing would be printed as a book. Now when Dhruva Maharaj's story, Prabhupada started recording and his purports to it, there is one section where Prabhupada especially talks about the tapasya that Dhruva Maharaj did when he came to this location. Not this location. This is not tapasya ka location, it seems anymore. No more tapasya location. Camping ka location ho gaya ye. But the tapasya that Dhruva Maharaj did for 6 months, right? Or it goes on and on and on as a chapter, long chapter there. And that when that printout came, it was sent to all ISKCON temples, one chapter. And when devotees read it, devotees were so inspired. In New Vrindavan, I will not take the names now, but there was one devotee who did not sleep for 2 months. Can you imagine? Tapasya. I have to do tapasya. Right? And then later Prabhupada's purports, clarify that how Dhruva Maharaj's tapasya, what Dhruva Maharaj was instructed was about according to that era. Now what should be tapasya for devotees? So Dhruva Maharaj's life has inspired many great souls. So the story begins, Maharaj Uttanapad is sitting on his throne, right? And he has 2 wives, 2 queens, Suruchi and Suniti. Suniti is the elder one, Suruchi is the younger one. And the way the names are, the personalities were also like that. Suniti, right? You will hear how she gave good niti later. But Suruchi, जिसमें बहुत रुचि थी उत्तानपाद की. And what happened? He would favor Suruchi more than Suniti. Suruchi कुछ बोल भी दे, उत्तानपाद की बोलती बंद हो जाती थी, है ना? But what happened now? Suniti had a son by the name Dhruva, right? And who can tell me the Suruchi's son's name? Uttama, right? Later you find Uttama का एक और एक स्टोरी आएगा 4th canto में ही ध्रुव महाराज के साथ. Okay, so Suniti has the son by the name Dhruva, and Suruchi has the son by the name Uttama. Now father is sitting on the throne. अभी बच्चे छोटे 4 साल 5 साल के बच्चे. उत्तम पिताजी के गोद में बैठा है. He's sitting on the lap, and Dhruva thinks, I also want to sit. दो है ना, एक पे एक बैठेगा, एक पे मैं बैठूंगा. But as Dhruva is approaching his father, thinking, I will get a place to sit on his lap, Suruchi shouts at him and says, Ruk, wait, you cannot sit on your father's lap. Why? Why can't I sit on my father's lap? Suruchi says, because you are not born from my womb. You are born from Suniti. You can, so how can I sit on my father? So Suruchi is saying, actually you cannot sit on the throne because you are not my son. Right? अभी छोटे बच्चे को क्या समझते हैं, दोनों मम्मी है भाई, दोनों तो मम्मी. इस प्रकार का बात बोली गई. And Uttanapad, what happened, because he's attached to Suruchi, he did not protest, he did not say anything. Right? So the first of the lessons that we learn from Uttanapad is that attachments make you weak. Your attachments in this world, they make you weak. That you cannot stand for, forget standing for Krishna, you cannot stand for simple moral reasons also. Right? When you are attached, that makes you go weak. Attachment in Sanskrit is called asakti. आसक्ति का मतलब कभी भी कहीं भी किसी से भी आ सकती है, इसलिए उसको आसक्ति बोलते हैं. राइट? और जब ये आसक्ति हो जाता है, राइट, लाइक all of you, right, you must have heard the air hostess telling you, or the announcement they do on the PA system. They will tell you, in case of emergency, if the plane has to land on, if in case there is, oxygen में कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, what do they tell? Who remembers? What do they announce? Put your mask first. Generally, what will parents do? बच्चे को बचा के फायदा क्या, तुम मर गए तो. बट आसक्ति क्या करता है, पहले बच्चे को लगाएंगे. They know that you are attached to your children, and at that time of emergency, that asakti, that attachment will rule over you. You would not know the signs of it. First save yourself, then there will be scope that you can save your kids whom you are attached to. Another announcement they will make, in case the plane has to land on water, in emergency the plane has to land on water. The first time I had heard this announcement, I said, पागल है, मैं हवा में उड़ने का पैसा दिया, पानी में जाने का थोड़ी दिया था, right? और ये बोल के पानी में जाना पड़े, and they actually do it. If they have emergency, the safest place they say is land on water, right? They will do it, right? They will do it. Why? They will say life vests are down below your seat, right? Wear them, but first put on yourself, not to your children or family members. Why? Our attachments. So Uttanapad was also attached. You find in the Bhagavad Gita, the first verse of the Gita is Dharma Kshetre Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kuru Kshetre Sabaveta Vyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra is asking this question. Sanjaya, on that battlefield of Kurukshetra, my sons and Pandu's sons, see, my. He's thinking Kauravas are my children and Pandu's sons. They have come together. What did they do? Did they fight? So Dhritarashtra, राष्ट्र का गद्दी होता है, right? The chair, Dhrita बहुत टाइट पकड़ के बैठा था. He's blind. He's not supposed to be the king. He's born blind, right? But he was so attached to that seat, to the point later you find when the entire battle is over, all the 100 sons are dead, right? Dhritarashtra would still go every day and sit on the throne. Yudhishthir is the king now, but Dhritarashtra would like to sit on that throne. मुझको ये अच्छा लगता है, आसक्ति बहुत ज़्यादा है, very attached. And then you find in the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, Vidura comes and he says, अरे दांत गिर गए, है ना, बोलना तेरे को आता नहीं. और वो भीम नहीं के भीम, that Bhima who killed your son Dhritarashtra, he throws his, jhuta to you, and like a dog you are eating. When Dhritarashtra hears such strong instructions, फिर उसका आसक्ति थोड़ा ढीला होता है ना? So when we hear strong instruction from scriptures, means we hear a strong instruction from sadhus, then what happens? Then our attachments become, our attachments go weak. And when our asakti, our attachments go a little weak, then we can take to spiritual practice. Otherwise, we are so strongly attached to this world, this body, this world, such strong attachments to our ideas, our conceptions, that we cannot take to spiritual life seriously. Little by little, as our attachments become, we see, actually I will not say attachments become weak. We see it for what they are. Earlier we were valuing it so much that we would say, Guru and Krishna, you wait. First this has to be satisfied. But when we see what is the value of it, right? When we get jnana, when we get knowledge, and we see what are we attached to, right? And people can get attached to any filthy thing. Anybody here who knows Bombay, Mumbai? You know Dadar Bridge? Very famous Dadar Bridge. One time, two beggars were talking. One beggar was a little elderly, and one was like his friend. Both are beggars. So one is talking to the another, and saying, मैंने क्या सुना? तुम्हारे बेटी की शादी? I heard your daughter is going to get married. Ah, my daughter's marriage is there around now very soon. Not here, beta. My daughter's marriage is there very soon. And the other one said, मैंने और भी कुछ सुना. I heard something. I heard you are giving a big dowry to the groom. Yes, big dowry I am giving. The what? Entire Dadar bridge. कहीं पे भी बैठ. Look at it. For them, the Dadar bridge is so special. किधर भी बैठ Dadar bridge पे. अपना ही जगह मान ले इसको. You see? We all will say Dadar bridge में क्या आ सकते? गंदा जगह उधर. Even a beggar is proud of his penny. We can get attached to any filthy thing in this world. Right? Very small things. Like 2018, Narendra Modi did this, demonetization, right? And one of our devotees back in Pune, congregation devotees, Dr. Deshpande, he's no more now. He was a disciple of Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So he was sharing that when demonetization happened, right, we were clearly told these notes will no longer be valid. Please deposit them into the bank. Right? 1,000 rupees note used to be there in that. He said, I went to my father. His father who was elderly, and I told him, Papa, जो भी कुछ है, जिधर भी कुछ है, दे दो. बैंक में डाल के आपको वापस करता हूँ. He said, I went to my mother, and my mother took out, वो शक्कर के डब्बे में कुछ था, ये वाले डब्बे में कुछ था, सब नोट निकाल के लाके दे दिए. But he said, when my father passed away in Corona, right? My father passed away. Below his bed, there was one sanduk, there was one suitcase. When you opened it, 4 lakh rupees के note. 4 lakh, and he's saying, and now if those notes are found with you, bank notes, you can be put in jail. That's what demonetization meant. But he was giving an example to me, how much my father was attached to that money. Even if government is saying it is no more valid, he still wanted to hold on with it. No, I cannot part with it. What is the use? Did he carry that money with him? That also did not happen. Now, he said, all that I could do was, in my backyard, I burnt all the notes. Kagaz, paper, this can take you to jail now. Right? So, we can be attached to any filthy thing in this world. And attachment means, okay, I'll go back to the story of Uttanapad. Uttanapad was so attached to Suruchi. Suruchi is, kind of the way she spoke to Dhruva, it hurt Dhruva so much. Why? Why is mother saying like this today? He could not understand what is called wife and a co-wife and the politics involved there. Small boy. But Suruchi made a comment. All that it was needed was Uttanapat should have said, Suruchi, don't do this. This is not proper. But he's the king, but he's so attached, he could not say anything. Another story you find in Ramayana, right? All that Dasharath Maharaj could have said was, I had given you blessings, not this kind of blessing. But so attached to Kaikeyi, what happened? He ended up asking, Ram, you deny. Ram, why should I deny? Ram, you deny to go to forest. Please don't obey me. Ram is saying, how can I disobey you? You are my father. But his attachment, what did he do? Entire Sita and Ram going to forest and Sita getting abducted and Ravana, entire Ramayana happened. Why? If only he was not, there was no undue attachment. See, your attachment, what does it do? It exploits you. How many of you agree? Your attachment exploits you very bad, right? Like you find kids get attached to cartoon. And the parents will say, बच्चे अभी छोड़ दे, पढ़ाई कर. But पढ़ाई करते करते क्या होता है? वो कार्टून बीच में अपना आईपैड लेके बैठ के कार्टून. पेरेंट्स तू कार्टून बनेगा, पापा के जैसे ही बनूंगा शायद. और those of you who are in college, right? Attachment हो गया किसी के साथ, फिर जब भी बुक खोलो तो मुझे कुछ और ही दिखता है. मुझे क्यों मुझे कुछ और क्यों दिख रहा है यहाँ पर? अटैचमेंट बहुत स्ट्रांग हो गया, राइट? सो व्हेन वी बिकम अटैच्ड, दिस अटैचमेंट वीकन्स अस. व्हाट आर वी सपोज्ड टू डू? एक शेर सुनाऊं आपको? शेर सुनने में अच्छा लगता है? नहीं, शेर वेर नहीं सुनते आप लोग? शेर सुना रहा था ना मैं कुछ. ऐसे कैदी का क्या करे कोई, ऐसे कैदी का क्या करे कोई जिसे अपने जंजीर से मोहब्बत हो जाए. समझा? समझा? अरे, if you become attached to your handcuffs, how will you ever get free? Our attachments are like our handcuffs. They hold on, but we become so attached to it. So, the first of the lesson that we learned is, do not allow. See, you may be attached to certain things, but an attachment becomes bad when it starts exploiting you. Don't allow your attachments to exploit you. You can carry on with your attachments and go to Krishna if possible. As soon as those attachments become a hindrance in your Krishna practice of Krishna consciousness, those attachments are your enemies. Like I said, our attachments make us go weak. So we have to be very careful that in Sanskrit, attachment is called आसक्ति. कभी भी कहीं भी किसी से भी आ सकती है, इसलिए वो आसक्ति है. तो किधर क्या करना चाहिए? What should we do? We can get attached to anything and everything. But those attachments are good enough till the time we can continue practicing Krishna consciousness. We can prosecute the mission of human form of life. If the very purpose of human form of life gets defeated, then those attachments are very dangerous. All that these attachments do is, like I can give an example. If I go and embrace that tree, if I go and embrace, and छोड़ दे मुझको, I'm saying to the tree, छोड़ दे मुझको. Will the tree leave me? The tree will not. Who has to leave? I have to. That's with my attachments. My attachments are not going to leave me. I have to leave them. I was the one who grabbed. I am the one who has to decide someday or other. As soon as we find our attachments are making it difficult for us to practice Krishna consciousness, the human form of life was given to us. The human form of life was given to us, right, for self-realization. Right? If that itself is not happening because of our attachments, then what is the use? Right? Okay. Next in the story, we go to the next part of the story. How much time is over? 21 minutes. Okay, we have 7-8 minutes. Some part of the story I'll cover. When Suruchi says something like that, and Uttanapad doesn't say anything to her. Then our Dhruva, he feels cheated, right? Dhruva comes to Uttanapad. Dhruva looks at his father. You say something. This was not proper. And Uttanapad, when he doesn't say anything, Dhruva feels cheated. Dhruva feels, I had come to you for shelter. You are my father. You are supposed to help. Right? Similarly, when people come to us, right? Yes, you have something to offer as Krishna consciousness. And when we say, no, I don't look at you. I don't help you. Where should such people go, imagine? Right? Like, I'll give one example. Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he generally expects that whichever car he's traveling, his disciples or whoever is with him, they will keep some prasadam in the car. Always there has to be some prasadam. Why? Maharaj would say that I have lived like a beggar for 1.5 years when I went in search of God, and I had to beg for food and everything. So Maharaj would say that when beggars come to your window, car window, you should have something to give them as prasadam. You should have something to give them as prasadam. And one time when Maharaj was in the car, right, and the Maharaj could understand that they are reaching the intersection and the beggars are going to come. Maharaj asked his driver, do you have some prasadam? And the driver said, sorry Maharaj, I forgot. And Maharaj said, next time you commit this mistake, I will take off your clothes and give it to the beggars and take you to the program like a Naga Baba. Then Maharaj explained, devotees who were in the car, Maharaj said, when somebody comes to you and asks for something, nobody's ego agrees to spread hands. I'll beg. But if they are coming to you and you have put tilak and you have put kantiwala and you are saying that yes, I am a devotee, they come to you and say, give me Krishna. At least the easiest form of Krishna that everyone can appreciate is prasadam. So just as Dhruva Maharaj was stopped by his stepmother, we were stopped by the cops. Don't discuss here. Get out of this place. You are not qualified to be here. You have not taken permit. So similarly, Suruchi, who spoke very harsh words, right, that brought out a great anger in Dhruva Maharaj. But what happened for Dhruva Maharaj was, is it okay? Everyone here? So Dhruva Maharaj, when his stepmother spoke those harsh words and his father did not say anything, Dhruva Maharaj didn't know what to do. So Bhagavatam says, just like a snake, if somebody stomps on a snake's tail, how the snake will get hissed with anger. That's what Dhruva Maharaj's situation was. I cannot accept it. How can this happen to me? 5-year-old boy got so angry. The Kshatriya blood flowing in his body. He thought, I only have one shelter now. Let me go to my mother, Suniti. So when he reaches Suniti, news reaches to her before that something like that has happened with Dhruva. He is very angry and is coming towards you. So Suniti, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj comes to her, how she counsels Dhruva is a very, very beautiful, it can be a whole seminar. Few verses that she shares with Dhruva, that Dhruva, something that has happened to you has not happened without God's sanction. She says first thing, it has not happened without God's sanction. Everything is happening without the Krishna's sanction. If this is what you've experienced, Krishna wants you to go through this. Right? So do not find fault with your father, with your stepmother. Krishna is the cause. Generally in India we have big huge trains, right? Trains which are like engine is there and then 15 bogies and 20 cars or 24 cars behind. So if you are sitting in a S6 one and if you ask this question, S6 moved because Why did S6 car move? Remember S6 car, why did it move? The engine moved? No. Generally because S5 moved. Why did S5 move?
Because the
S4 moved. And ultimately the engine moved. So similarly, you have to understand in our life, for every situation, there is an immediate cause, there is a remote cause, and there is an ultimate cause. When we go through some situations in life, we always focus on the immediate cause. He looked at me like that. He spoke to me like that. That was the immediate cause. There is something called a remote cause, and there is something the ultimate cause, that is Krishna. So what Suniti does with Rishabh, what Suniti does with Dhruva is, she says, till the time you focus on the immediate cause or the remote cause, right, you will always remain in the cycle of karma. As soon as you see ultimate cause, Krishna has something to give and take with this situation. What does Krishna want you to learn from this? Right? Srila Prabhupada would give example. A postman, a postal, what do you call it? Postal, what do you call it here?
post office.
Post office guy. The post office guy comes to your house with a money order. Oh, somebody has sent $1 million for you. Right? You don't, you say, thank you, give me the money order. And if the postal guy comes to you with the news that somebody is dead, you don't beat the guy. Why did you come to me with the bad news? He is just the carrier of it. The good news or the bad news. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada says, anything happens in our life, unless we see, first is see Krishna's hand, second, see to it that it is your own karma. And Suniti says, Dhruva, why do you forget that you are born from me and I am not favored by the king? Accept the truth of life. That's the situation. Why can't you accept this? But Dhruva says, I wanted to sit on father's lap, and my stepmother inferred it as if I want to sit on the throne. So Dhruva tells his mother, Suniti, good philosophy, very nice. Tell me, how do I become greater than my great-grandfather? That is Brahma. How can you become greater than Brahma in this creation? But Suniti, the mother, what did she do? She says, whenever somebody wants something great, they go to God. Right? So Dhruva asked, where do I get this God? And mother just pointed out her finger towards the forest. From the window she showed, that forest you see, generally sadhus will go that side and then they will go in search of God. And what did Dhruva do? He said, I am going. And the mother was so amazing. She did not even pack a lunchbox for the boy. 5-year-old boy. Why did she not pack? Suniti tells Dhruva, I am just one mother. God can give you love of millions of mothers put together. God is all loving. Krishna will care for you. Right? So she gave that faith. Right? So Srila Prabhupada says, now when we grow up, we think I am taking care of myself, I am feeding myself, I have to work and then only I get to eat. Srila Prabhupada says when we were born, right, when we were in mother's womb, who fed us? Krishna made the arrangement. When we were born, Krishna made the arrangement, right, from the mother's milk. Prabhupada says only when we grow up, we start doubting, will Krishna feed him? Right? But Suniti told Dhruva, go to the forest, everything will come to you. Right? So this faith that Suniti gave, right, she is technically called a Patha Pradarshak Guru. She could not guide Dhruva in details of his practice, but she only showed the way. Go that side. That's where you get, right? Like, so Dhruva comes to Krishna consciousness like that. His coming to Krishna consciousness was through his mother, who became a guru for him. So we have 4 kinds of gurus. I was mentioning the devotees here in the front sheets. We have, which are 4 gurus. Patha Pradarshak Guru, then something called as Shiksha Guru, the third is Diksha Guru, and the fourth is Chaitya Guru. Right? Patha Pradarshak Guru means the one who shows you the way. Right? Like somebody coming, somebody giving you a book, somebody showing you go to the temple. Right? Patha Pradarshak, he was the first one to show you. Like in my life, I had a friend, Sardarji friend, Pushpinder Singh Dhingra. I and he would always, our fun, how would we spend time? We would generally go to a Balaji temple close to our house, take darshan for a few minutes, but then go behind the temple and discuss philosophy. I would read something from Gita, he would read something from somewhere, and he would ask questions and I would answer, I would ask questions, he would answer. But I had some questions which he could never answer, and they always remained a puzzle. So one day he came to my house and he told me, I'm going to take you to some place today, not to the Balaji temple, some different temple, and there you are going to get the answers for your questions. So I said, okay, come on, let us go. So he took me to an address, and this was like an old bungalow, and he took me behind that bungalow. He told me this is a temple. I said, yeah, it's a temple, old bungalow dikh raha hai. But he said, no, सामने से नहीं पीछे से जाते. He took me to a room, and then he showed me one person, a young boy. He was sitting in dhoti kurta with tilak and everything. And my Sardari friend told me, this is the guy who will answer your question. I said, चलो देखते, इसको पूछ के देखते, अपने बाप को नहीं आता था आंसर, तुझको नहीं आता था, इसको पूछ के देखते. I asked him, and he gave me all the answers so convincing. And my last question to him was, where did you get these answers from? Then he showed me Bhagavad Gita as it is. Then I thought, एक और question. Then I asked him, what is your name? So he said, Shah Nawaz Alam. And I was like, what? You're a Muslim? Bhagavad Gita and a Sardarji friend. Then I asked, which is this place? He said, ISKCON temple. I was like, wow. Sardarji friend takes me to a ISKCON temple where a Muslim boy, tells me from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Special. I felt special about me that time. But what has happened? That Sardarji friend became my Patha Pradarshak Guru. Right? He became my first Shiksha Guru. Right? So we all have four kinds of Guru. Okay, so हो गया पहला क्या था? Patha Pradarshak. Second is Shiksha Guru. Third is Diksha Guru. So generally, in a strong sense, Shiksha Guru may not be the Diksha Guru always. Diksha Guru is one who connects us to Parampara. Officially, he initiates us and again connects us to Parampara. Recently, Radhanath Sai Maharaj was giving some Diksha, and it was for some Ukraine devotees. And Ukraine, there is war going on. So Maharaj had to give that Diksha online. So he was sitting in GEV, Govardhan Eco Village. Internet, he's online on Zoom, and something happened to internet, and it said reconnecting. Right? On the screen it came reconnecting, and Maharaj said such a perfect understanding. Initiation means reconnecting to Parampara. Right? So Diksha Guru is the one who connects you to Parampara. Diksha Guru can also be your Shiksha Guru, but generally that does not happen in its strong sense. And the last Guru is the Chaitya Guru. Chaitya Guru means the Paramatma within your heart. The Paramatma also guides. So now Dhruva, small 5-year-old boy, goes to the forest. Mother has said, go, you will see God there. And Dhruva is so sincere, Dhruva is so serious. Shukdev Goswami says in the Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami says in the Bhagavatam that Narada came by. How did Narada come by? Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, Krishna is sitting as Chaitya Guru, Paramatma is sitting in the heart of Dhruva, Paramatma is sitting in the heart of Narada, and Paramatma tells, go. That's a sincere boy. That's a sincere practitioner. Go help him. Srila Prabhupada says, I was an old man. I was sitting under the Tompkins Square Park, the tree in the Tompkins Square Park.
I closed my eyes, right? I had kept my eyes closed and I was singing. And when I opened my eyes, so many boys and girls were dancing in front of me. I did not teach them Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I did not teach them dancing. And all of them are in front of me. How did this happen? Srila Prabhupada says, my Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur planted all of you. Krishna brought all of you in front. This is a sincere sadhu. Go and associate with him. Right? Prabhupada says, this is how ISKCON began. It did not begin out of my big connections. It was the connection was created by Krishna. So here when Dhruva is going to the forest, Narada comes by. Right? So now what Narada does is something amazing. He tells Dhruva, "Bachcha hai, ghar wapas ja." You're a small kid. Go back home. And Dhruva says, no. I don't see me like as if I'm a kid or something. I'm very serious about this. I want God. Right? So Narada says, oh, stepmother spoke something harsh to you. Happens. She'll again start loving you. Go back. No, I'm not going. Okay, so Guru will test the disciple. Is the disciple really sincere? Is the disciple serious about, So when people come to ISKCON, they will say, what is this? 3 साल 16 माला करो, 4 नियम का पालन करो, उसके बाद भी दीक्षा मिलेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं. This is a test. Just as Narada tested, right? When you get something cheap, then you don't have the value for it. Right? But when you pay the price for it, like Srila Prabhupada was supposed to give devotees in New York, they arranged a program for Srila Prabhupada in one huge stadium. Small, good stadium was there. They were expecting 1,500, 2,000 people to come. They had given out flyers, they had distributed flyers for it. But when Prabhupada came to the stage, Prabhupada saw 4 or 5 devotees and 2 or 3 extra people sitting there. Entire seating arrangement, stadium, chairs, everything is empty. And Prabhupada gave the whole class as if thousands of people are sitting in front of him. And after the program got over, devotees were saying, Prabhupada, we are so sorry, Prabhupada, we are so sorry. We should have been careful. We brought you here, but nobody came. And Prabhupada said, nobody came because you kept it free. You should have charged. If you charge something, Prabhupada said back in Bengal, there's a saying, if anybody is giving out free mangoes, pakka gadbad hoga, pakka kuch to gadbad hoga. And if you charge for mangoes, they say, let me pay and check how are the mangoes. Right? So Prabhupada told devotees, no, you did not see, Narada was there, Brahmaji was there, all acharyas were there. Prabhupada said, when we do Krishna Katha, not only Krishna is interested in hearing Krishna Katha, all the parampara is interested in hearing Krishna Katha. Prabhupada said, I spoke for all of them. So Dhruva was tested by Narad Muni. Guru will test the disciple. Right? Like okay, I'll say this. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one time Srila Prabhupada was sitting in a class to hear Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would speak in English, right, Britishers would sit with dictionary. His vocabulary was such, even today you read the Brahma Samhita that he has given, it is so difficult to comprehend what is going on here. Right? Okay, one more example I tell you. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's, what eruditeness was there, what knowledge. One time he was in his gamcha, about to go and take bath. Somebody asked a question to him on the way. He sat right there in his gamchas, and right sitting there, Bhakti Maharaj says, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, because the question was about apasampradayas, right? Offshoots from pure path. And so many wrong philosophies kind of developed. So Bhakti Thakur gave 60 Bengali names of apasampradayas, 60 equivalent English names of it, what is their philosophy and how to defeat them. All 61 after Mughal. Everyone like, what? No book in front, no nothing. Just to understand the nuances, how, where does the deviation happen? It takes very pure intelligence. How deviations happen. Like in Srila Prabhupada times, a deviation was, twice it happened in Prabhupada times. Devotees in California, they began a Gopi Bhav club. It's there in the Leelamrit. Somebody went to Vrindavan and understood Gopi Bhav and all these things stuff, and they tried to make something called Gopi Bhav club. And Prabhupada said, you don't get Gopi's Bhav by joining some club. Right? That's a very high status. The Gopis of Vrindavan are the topmost devotees. So that's called deviation. Right? Another time deviation that happened was when few sannyasis, they understood that Prabhupada's health is bad and Prabhupada is going back to India, and Prabhupada himself said, I don't know if I will ever come back. These sannyasis, they did not understand. ISKCON is just 5 or 6 years old now. How do we manage it now? Will whatever devotees, and a few temples in America and some in, I think, 1 or 2 places in Canada, they did not understand how they were able to manage it. They all met in New Vrindavan, and these 3 sannyasis, they were also new, they were also not very seniors that way. They started saying to devotees in their lectures, Prabhupada is Krishna. And Krishna and Prabhupada is, felt bad about something, and he is left. Now we have to take care of this place. Right? But Prabhupada had not even reached Japan, Tokyo. He had a stopover, and Prabhupada shot a telegram from there. Right? I ban these 3 sannyasis from ISKCON. They cannot be in ISKCON anymore. How can they say that Guru is God? Guru has to be respected as good as God. Guru can never become God. Right? But Prabhupada, so these 3 sannyasis were told by Prabhupada that you are banned from ISKCON, and you can only come back to ISKCON if each of you open 10 temples. Go out and preach. 10 temples you have to open, each of you, and then only you will be accepted back in ISKCON. Then one sannyasi met Prabhupada 1.5 years later, and he came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I have opened 7. Prabhupada said, I accept you, but 3 are still remaining. So I was saying, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur so pakka with philosophy. He could understand little deviation also anywhere. There's 60 names of deviations he could give you. How pure philosophy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming, and how people misrepresent sometimes by cooking wrong philosophies. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was giving a class. Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the crowd, and one person was sitting next to Prabhupada. And our Prabhupada did not understand something. He asked the person next to him, what did Guru say? Guru samjha nahi kya bola? And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur saw this. And this person was answering Abhay Babu that time. And Prabhupada told this devotee, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur told this devotee, he was saying, Babu, what do you think by giving donation have you purchased your Guru? If you have something better to say, come and sit here. I will sit down and hear from you. But when I am speaking, you should not speak in between. Don't talk in between like this. That's a Guru Avagya. You hear. Right? So why did I tell you this one? बहुत सारा हो गया बीच में मैं कनेक्शन मेरा ही कनेक्शन मिल गया
दीक्षा गुरु थर्ड पॉइंट पे
हाँ दीक्षा गुरु चैत्य गुरु okay I was saying Guru will test that Guru has a right to test his disciple. Proper रूप से disciple means discipline. Accepting Guru means first to accept becoming a disciple. देखो गुरु सबको चाहिए, शिष्य किसी को बनना नहीं. Everyone wants Guru, but nobody wants to become disciple. Because Guru is supposed to put disciple to discipline. Guru is supposed to discipline the disciple, right? Guru, and traditionally Srila Prabhupada would say, Guru is the one who rules over a disciple. Right? That's what Arjuna did to Krishna. Shishyas teham shadhi mam tvam prapanam. I want to become your disciple. Please, you instruct me. And Vishwanath Thakur says that Krishna is saying, no, go to Vyasdev, go to Bhishma, he's standing there, go to Drona. Why me? I am a charioteer for you. And I am just a friend of yours. Arjuna says, Nishchitam bruhitam me. You tell me for certain. I am not going to anybody else now. I only want to hear from you. So similarly, when becoming a disciple does not mean, it's something called like fashion में चल रहा है आजकल. ISKCON में आए तो चलो गुरु कर लेते. Back in India, people will say, गुरु किए बगैर मरना नहीं है, गुरु होना चाहिए. And which all useless people will go and make them as their guru. What is guru's role? What is called becoming a disciple? Right? They do not know that, and they still make a kind of a make show of it. They'll make a show out of it. Back in Pune, close to our Kunjibihari temple, there is a locality called Koregaon Park. In Koregaon Park, we have an organization which was also, this guy was also during Prabhupada times only. His name was Osho Foundation. नाम नहीं लेगा. संस्था तक नाम दो, आदमी का नाम लेके पाप नहीं करना है, छोड़ लेगा. Osho नाम था. So in India we cut a joke. वो तो शो था. Osho, वो तो शो था. So many people, even today, imagine people will go to that organization. Before you enter, you have to get a blood test done. For what? What is spirituality in blood test? And then they will also get HIV test done. What is spirituality there? So many people will go. But as soon as you come to ISKCON, they will say chant 16 rounds, follow 4 relative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, no onion garlic, no tea coffee. Babri, they are disciplining us too much, huh? That's what disciple means. Disciple means you agree to get disciplined, not that Shotha, jo man mein aaya karo. Right? You are living the way you are living, you can continue like that, just give me some donation. That guru seems to be very nice. But when you come to Prabhupada, first of all, discipline. So, Narada tested Dhruva. Then Narada says, okay, I will tell you some nice principles. Right? We should be humble, we should be gentle, right? We should not see anybody as enemy, right? Everyone is spiritual. And Dhruva says, hey Baba, Narad Muni, I appreciate you, you are a great guy, but your instruction does not, touch my wounded heart. Tell me something that I can digest. In this condition, give me something that I can accept. And then Narada says, okay, now I will give you the instruction. So Narada tells Dhruva how he should go to a place called Madhuvan. It's still there in Vrindavan. Madhuvan is there. Dhruva Maharaj, place where Dhruva Maharaj performed tapasya. You can even now go and take darshan there. So Narada told on the banks of Yamuna, there is a place called Madhuvan. And Prabhupada in the purport says, it is so important to look for a sacred place for our spiritual practice. Right? So when we have to chant Hare Krishna, you can chant in front of you can come to the temple and chant. You can chant in front of the temple in your home, and you can also chant on your bed. Right? But you can clearly understand the difference in the chanting and the meditation and the hearing process, how much it is nice when you are chanting in the temple. Krishna says in the Gita, Shuchau Deshe Paristhapi. You have to look for a sacred place. Right? So Narada first of all told a place to Dhruva. Then Narada tells Dhruva that on the sand you should make a deity of Krishna. He gives the full, details of it, how to make the deity in the sand. Then he says, you get fruits, flowers, whatever you get, you offer to the deity. Then Narada gives a mantra to chant. And then Narada understands he's a Kshatriya boy, right? So Narada tells him how you have to increase your austerity with each passing day. Okay. So this happened in which era? This happened in Satyuga, right? So the process that Narada gave was of dhyana. Right? So kriteya dhyayato Vishnu tretayam yajato makhai vapare paricharyayam kalautad harisankirtanat. With every yuga, there is a process that is given. In Satyuga, the process was of dhyana. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu. Go to the forest, right, and then meditate on Vishnu. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu. Tretayam yajato makhai. In Treta Yuga, the next yuga, where Lord Ram appeared, the process was to perform yajna. Huge yajna sthali would be there. Wow, traffic jam. So huge yajna sthali would be there and yajna would be performed. Dwapare paricharyayam. In Dwapar Yuga, there would be huge temples and their detailed worship of the deities would happen. Beautiful worship of the deities. So every yuga has a certain process. Now which yuga are we living in? Satyuga, right? सब सो गए मस्त आराम से क्योंकि आप बोलते रहो हम सो रहे पीछे मस्त, right? So now we are living in Kali Yuga. What is the process in Kali Yuga? Kalau tad hari sankirtana. Chanting the names of God is the process. What is the evidence? All of you remember Vishwamitra was performing meditation in the forest and Menka was sent by Indra to break his meditation. Same Vishwamitra in Treta Yuga goes to Dasharath Maharaj and he says, I want Ram. Why? What was the trouble? He was in some trouble? No. Not to protect the sages. Why? What?
The demons used to interrupt in his yagna.
Demons were interrupting in the yajna. So I was a Kshatriya before. Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya king before. But he took to the process of meditation in Satyuga. In Treta Yuga, he comes to Dasharath Maharaj, I want Ram to kill all those demons. Question should be asked, Vishwamitra was doing tapasya before. Why is he doing yajna now? Change of yuga. So similarly, when yuga cycles change, with each yuga comes a particular process of practice. You want to purify your heart, you want to go back to spiritual world, a process is to be followed. Right? But back in India, you'll find people still thinking, हम यज्ञ करेंगे, अपने घर में छोटा छोटा यज्ञ कुंड रखेंगे और छोटा मोटा यज्ञ करते कुछ तो स्वाहा करने को मजा आता है. Right? But what will happen out of it? That process is no more for this yuga. Right? Like in India, we give the example, CST railway station. Right? CST railway station पे 50 खिड़कियां खुली थी एक साथ. Inauguration हुआ था. किसके लिए? Railway ticket बिकेगी. I was present there for the inauguration, and I again returned after 6 months to buy a ticket. But I find only 25 ticket counters are open and remaining 25 are closed. और वहाँ पे ऐसा लिखा है closed. But I go and stand on the 30th one. All queues are for the first 25 windows, and I go and stand on the 30th one. Somebody comes and tells me, sir, why are you standing here? For the ticket. But it is written here, right? This counter is closed. Those 25 are open. No. When that day inauguration happened, all 50 counters were open. This counter will also give ticket. अंदर वाला बोल रहा है इधर नहीं दे रहे हम लोग. But I am stubborn. I will stand there only. Similarly, Satyuga there was one process. Treta was one, Dwapar one, and Kali Yuga में हम यज्ञ करेंगे. अरे हो गया वो खिड़की बंद बाबा. That window is closed. long time back, why are you doing this yajna? Why are you doing all this dhyana? Right? Like if I know one brahmachari, he was a brahmachari with me in Pune. Now he's the president for Kanpur temple. Pray Harinam Prabhu. His father, I went to their house one time. Huge bungalow they have, and on the top floor of the bungalow, his father had made a room for himself. What would you do? मैं ध्यान करता हूँ. And I asked, what came out of your ध्यान? तो मराठी बोले, नीच ध्यान डालो. मैं बन गया, ऐसा मूर्ख बन गया, कुछ निकला नहीं. I said, what about chanting Hare Krishna? He said, yes. Since the time I have been chanting, I can say so many things, so many have changed with me. But when I was performing meditation, I could not experience these changes. So I had to tell him the same story. Every yoga has a certain process. There is no need to do mix and match. Unique process for each yoga, and you're supposed to take to that process to experience the change in you. Right? Okay. So Narada told Dhruva, you are supposed to chant a mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That was the mantra given to Dhruva. Right? So Dhruva is supposed to chant that mantra. And Dhruva was told meditation and especially increased tapasya. So when you read Bhagavatam, you will find that Dhruva, first month Dhruva ate only some fruits. Right? And fruits also not from the tree, whatever falls off the tree. Right? Very, very, very merciful way of eating. Not even plucking the fruit off the tree. किसी को कोशिश करना है अगले 7 दिन? यहाँ मिलेगा कुछ? यहाँ पे फ्रूट खींचने गए तो गोली पड़ेगी, अंदर घुसे गए थे. So first month fruit of the tree, then leaves of the tree, then dry leaves, then only water, 5th month only air, and by the time it was 6th month, Dhruva's determination was so strong and his desire to perform tapasya under the guidance of Narad Muni, instruction of Narad Muni, was so strong. 6th month, he stopped even breathing. And because Dhruva stopped breathing, Bhagavatam says the entire air flow in the universe stopped. The demigods, they could not understand what's going on. The demigods approached Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu tells them, अब चिंता मत करो, मुझे पता है किसके कारण हो रहा है. 5 साल का बच्चा है, लेकिन बड़ा डिटरमाइंड है. Right? So Lord Vishnu, especially the name of that incarnation is called Prishni Garbha. Right? Prishni Garbha. Vishnu's this incarnation appeared from Sutapa and Prishni. That was the name of parents. So his name is Prishni Garbha. So the Lord appears to Dhruva, right? So the Lord who appeared to Dhruva, his name is Prishni Garbha, and Lord Prishni Garbha told Dhruva, bas. You're done good. You're done good. Right? Or the darshan, I'm just cutting this. There's still something to the pastime, I'm cutting it short. Lord asked Dhruva, what do you want from me? Tell me. What is the blessing that you need? Abhi Dhruva, what did he desire? Why did he begin the entire thing? Why did he want darshan of God? Vishnu? To gain kingdom greater, gain a position greater than Brahma, great grandfather. But when Dhruva got the darshan of the Lord, right, Dhruva fell flat in front of the Lord. The hairs on his body were standing on end. His eyes were full of tears of love. The Lord is saying, Dhruva, kya chahiye bolo? And Dhruva is saying, kuch nahi chahiye. Okay, please repeat this verse behind me. Sthana vilashi tapasi sthitoyam Tvan praptavan deva munindra guiham Kachan vichinvan api divya ratnam Swami Pritatu Asmi Bharam Nayachi. So he said, Varam na yache. I don't want any blessing. No, I don't want anything. Why don't you want? Dhruva says, I began the whole process as if I was going to beg for some broken pieces of glass. Now that I got your darshan, the Lord, it is like I have achieved a rare diamond. Please don't give me anything. I don't want anything now. My heart is purified. Srila Prabhupada writes there, whoever comes in contact with Krishna, however you come in contact with Krishna, you get purified. Just like anyhow you come in contact with Mother Ganga, you will experience purification. Right? So Krishna's name and Krishna is non-different. When we come in contact with Krishna's holy name, when we chant Krishna's name, we will get purified. And Srila Prabhupada would give the example of Valmiki. Valmiki was a hunter before. He would half kill animals. When Narada told him, chant the name of Rama, and he said, nikalta nahi. Ram bolne ko hota nahi. So Narada said, ulta bol, Mara. ये तो बोलने को होता है मोरा 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 मोरा. So Prabhupada says the holy name of the Lord is so powerful. उल्टा भी जब किया क्या बन गया हंटर का वाल्मीकि बन गया. Right? So I was one time chanting in Mayapur in our Panchatattva hall. It was afternoon time when nobody comes there. I thought I'll do some meditative chanting, nice contemplative chanting I'll do. When I was sitting there, after some time, somebody else came and sat next to me and started chanting. But it disturbed my chanting because this person was saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I tolerated for some time and until I opened my eyes and I looked at this person and said, see, the mantra is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why don't you say love? Why are you saying love? So this person said, I'm from China, and the part of China that I belong to, we don't have letter R, right? So that's why I have to say, I pronounce it as love. Then I again looked at this person. He was shaven head, with shikha, with tilak, with dhoti kurta, and then came his wife in a sari and two kids. Girl and a boy. और मैं बोला अरे हरे कृष्णा से अगर इतना हो सकता है तो हरे कृष्णा में कितना ताकत होना चाहिए सोचो. A Chinese man, right, who had no idea about Krishna or Krishna consciousness, हरे कृष्णा करके इतना चेंज हो सकता है किसी में. Then Valmiki was a hunter, became a rishi, right? So Srila Prabhupada would say similarly when we come in contact with Krishna's name can purify us. Right? So Dhruva got the darshan of the Lord and now he's saying, I'm sorry I was asking for something material. I don't want anything. But what did the Lord do? Lord Prishnigarva said, नहीं Dhruva, problem क्या पता है क्या? आगे आने वाले लोग बोलेंगे कुछ दिया नहीं उसको आखिरी में तुमने. Still Lord said, okay Dhruva, I'll give you the Dhruva Loka, right? The pole star. Right? A planet which is as good as Vaikuntha within this world. You will be a king in this world for 36,000 years and then you will go to Dhruva Loka where you will reside. Right? So Srila Prabhupada in the purport says, when you come to Krishna, you are never a loser. Even if you do not want anything, still Krishna will bless you. Materially you will be successful and spiritually surely Krishna will protect. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande. For ourselves. But what we need to understand is that materially we can never experience satiation or satisfaction by material means. Because I am Atma, no matter how much material success I get and materially I offer myself, it's not going to make me feel satisfied. Prabhupada would give example just like a fish. out of water. Now the fish is out of water. You can supply n number of things to the fish, but do you think the fish will fish will be satisfied? The fish will be satisfied when you put it back into water. Similarly, Atma, as soon as the Atma gets connected back to Krishna, then there is satisfaction. Otherwise, this material world, you may become the richest guy. Right? You may have all the wealth of the world, you may have every facility of the world, but you'll find the richest of the people, they commit suicide. Why? If we think, providing, if I earn money, if I provide materially for my parents, then they will be happy. You cannot. That's a false expectation. Because my parents, my relatives, everyone is spirit soul, unless they connect back to Krishna. So, should we provide anything materially to our parents and ourselves? Do you have? Yeah, we have body, but it should not be excess. How do you understand it has become excess? As soon as you compromise your spiritual practice. As soon as you feel, no, my parents did so much for me. They need not, chant Krishna's name. They should have nice, house and the sofa and the, and a TV and a car, and 2-3 cars. I will provide this much for them, and then I will give Krishna. No, that's not how it happens. That's not how it happens. No matter how much you provide, they will never be satisfied. Because, again, fish out of water. For us, what should we do while we are living here? We may be working and 5 days a week and all. And anyways, you guys do think that you work a lot. Go back to India and see people work 7 days a week. So here you cannot complain that I am working so much. It's not so much here, but whatever it is there, at least some part of the day should be dedicated to chanting Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada gave us this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. What is mantra? Manaha Trayate iti mantra. One that delivers you from the problems of the mind. Ultimately, everything is in the mind. It's a mental world. Why? Why is it a mental world? If the mind suddenly, shuts off, no matter whatever you provide, you cannot find happiness there. You'll find somebody now. We are going in the bus and we are very happy. Yeah, we are going to reach. We are reaching and we'll have good time there, right? It's just the mind, right? We are thinking we'll have a good time. We are good devotees, surely, because we are going to chant Hare Krishna, we are going to discuss Bhagavatam. Because we are putting Krishna there, then it's good. Otherwise, 6th canto of Bhagavatam says, what is Sukha and what is Dukha in this world? What you consider happiness, like now summers are so nice, right? Canada is so beautiful. Another 3-4 months, the same place will be a suffering. Oh, I don't tell me I have to. What is this place? I want to go back to India. Right? Sometimes people sleep here and then you cannot understand. There's ice and you slip. So many people meet accident here and they're like, why did I come to this place? So what is Sukha? What is Dukkha? And sometimes what is Dukkha? We think, oh, it is such a misery. After some time, oh, that was only good. That happened. Like you were supposed to catch the flight and you missed it. And the same flight, and you are so sorry for it. You are so miserable. I missed my flight, but that flight meets with an accident. The same situation you feel, oh, so nice. So what is happiness and what is suffering? What is blessing? What is curse? What is Swarga and what is Naraka? It's just mind. Just the mind, that's all. So similarly, you have to understand. So all the mind is making us, this oscillation between extremes that mind does. How do we save ourselves from that? Manaha Trayate iti mantra. Mantra means one that delivers you from the problems of the mind. The mind will create issues, but just like for belly, you are giving food, right? For mind, what are you giving? What is the input from the mind?
Name of the God.
Just like students will use pencil for writing, but you keep on writing with the pencil. After some time, what happens? The pencil becomes blunt. So what do you need to do? You have to take time out to sharpen the pencil. But if the student says, no, I'm going to waste time, I don't want to sharpen the pencil, so much time will go waste. After some time, you will not be able to write. The pencil will go so blunt. Similarly, with day in and day out, we use our mind for thinking. And someday it just gives up. I don't want to think. Just leave me alone. Man, give me some space. Why? And sometimes situations become so overwhelming. That means you have used your mind, abused your mind. Now what should you do? Take time out for the mind. The mind has become deceased. So chanting Hare Krishna every day that we do 2 hours in the morning, it is keeping our mind healthy to deal with the worldly situations. The worldly situations will not become so overwhelming that I'll forget Krishna. Like sometimes you'll find people come to Hare Krishna, but they don't last. They don't last because the worldly situations become so overwhelming. They feel better I settle these things first. But how much would you like to settle? Back in India, छोटे बच्चे जब भी बोलते हैं कि कुछ कहानी सुनाओ, तो बड़े लोग कहानी क्या सुनाते हैं? एक तराजा एक तिरानी दोनों मर गए खत्म कहानी. अरे तुम राजा बन जाओ, रानी बन जाओ, एक दिन खत्म तो होना है ना. कितने लोगों ने, कितने रिफॉर्मर्स आ गए, कितने कौन नहीं आया. मैं क्या कर लूंगा इस जगत का, बताओ. That's why devotees compare material world to be a toilet. Do your job and get out. You're not supposed to be living in the toilet. Don't make the toilet a happy place. At least back in India, the toilet is not a very good place. Right? But that's how we should treat this world. Do your job, do your work, do your duties, but don't get so attached that you forget Krishna. So Krishna has given you 24 hours. What should you do? At least say, Krishna, I'll give back 2 hours to you. I'll begin with half an hour, 1 hour. Prabhupada said minimum 2 hours. That's 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna. If you don't give that, very soon what will happen? We'll also face that casualty of mind, where the mind just gives up after some time. All the money is lying, all the glory of this world is, and then Marilyn Monroe. You heard of her?
Yes.
You've not heard of Marilyn Monroe? You live in this world? He has not heard of Marilyn Monroe, she's saying. He's saying.
The poster of a girl.
Okay, so forget it. You don't need to remind everything. Why do you want to disturb his mind? Okay. But very famous Hollywood actress. Very famous. Even John Kennedy, the President of America, I would like her. But one time when she was in front of her mirror, she was a white-haired blonde. She saw some grey hairs. And she understood, now I'm getting old. People will not click my photographs now. She took overdose of sleeping pills and committed suicide.
I already have so many white hairs.
Good. Your name is not Marilyn Monroe. So particularly, no matter how much we try to work in this world, it has to go down. Once again it goes bad. Once, time and again. So this world is not a place for, this world is meant for our reformation and to get out of this world. Like when I was small, my mother would put me to bed and my mother would sing a song to me, Bollywood song. आंचल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो बस प्यार ही प्यार पले. और मैं सोता नहीं था, मैं मम्मी को पूछता था, मम्मी ऐसा जगह है क्या? बॉलीवुड का गाना है, जस्ट अ बॉलीवुड सॉन्ग. मैं बोला ठीक है. But then when I went to school, every morning they would make us sing a prayer. Asato ma satgamaya, tamso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amrutam gamaya. Then gamaya मुझको समझा. अरे मैं प्रेयर को सुबह आया और ये बोलते जा किधर जा बोल रहे भाई, जाने को किधर बोल रहे, मैं तो अभी आया था. And my Sanskrit teacher told me the meaning of the prayer is, this world is a temporary place, go to that world which is eternal. This world is a place of darkness, go to that world which is eternal light. This world is the world of death, go to that world which is
eternal. I thought अरे बॉलीवुड भी वही बोल रहा था, ऐसा जगह है, right? My school prayer was also saying ऐसा जगह जाना है. Then when I studied Bible a little, Bible says kingdom of God. Islam religion says Jannat, and our Sanatan Dharma talks about Vaikuntha. So Bollywood was saying same thing, my school prayer was saying same thing, and even all religions are saying this is not the place to live. You are supposed to go back, right? And then you find even scientists, they have their huge radio telescopes and electromagnetic and everything. They are all trying to catch radiations from the space. Why? Extraterrestrial, ET. Right? There must be somebody more intelligent out there trying to communicate with us. So science also agrees, religions agree, school prayer agreed, and even Bollywood agrees. There is another place where we are supposed to go. So how should we live in this world? This is a temporary place. Just like we stopped at, what was that place? Canmore we stopped. But we knew our destination is Banff. So we did our job and we moved on. That's how this world should be seen. I do my work. I have a body, I have to take care of this body, I have some work. But my goal was to go to spiritual world. वो भूल गए अगर तो सब बाकी कुछ भी क्या फालतू, सिर्फ टाइम वेस्ट किए जगत में रहे. If we forget that aspect, right? Okay, thank you. Any other question? पारस पूछ ले बेटा, पूछ जी ले तेरी जिंदगी पारस. ऐसा कुछ तो चल रहा है. पारस तेरी जिंदगी जी ले. क्यों हंसे आप इतने जोर से? मैंने कुछ भी नहीं बोला था. कुछ तो ज्यादा सोचा आपने. कुछ तो ज्यादा सोचा. आपका इमेजिनेशन किधर गया? बातें हो रही थी ना, आपने कहा जी ले अपनी जिंदगी की. कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन हो गया.
I wanted to ask, when we are in this material world, we also have to do material things to sustain ourselves. And after coming into, after knowing a bit about spirituality, I would say I know a bit, not very much. We need to balance those things so that we can do both. And if what happens is, if we compare it to a scale, the material side at times go up, and other times spiritual side goes down, and the other times it is vice versa. So if I try to focus more on spirituality, then the material life suffers like anything. But if I do the opposite thing, I want to know how can I balance, and the practical steps which you might have followed or which you have gained through all your experience. How can I follow? Because at times life feels like anything, and at that time it is like आप जाना ही पड़ेगा भगवान के पास.
सबको जाना ही है.
नहीं वो तो है ही, मतलब it is like कि जैसे अब कोई प्रॉब्लम आ गई तो जाके पापा हेल्प चाहिए, sort of like that. तो it is मतलब ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हमेशा पापा के साथ कनेक्टेड भी रहो, तो ताकि वो हेल्प भी करते रहे, और आप दूसरा जो आपसे आपके फादर चाहते हैं कि आप जो काम करो कि सस्टेन भी करो अपने आप को, वो भी करते रहें. How to maintain that? Because balancing is very difficult for me, I would say. Very difficult.
So, so what happens is, see, if you see Bhagavad Gita, for Arjuna also it was so difficult to fight. Right? He was thinking, I better run away from this place. What did Krishna tell him? Krishna said, Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Earlier you were fighting for your cause, now you fight for me. So now what is Krishna saying? Mam anusmara, first remember me and then fight the war. Similarly, we should live our day, first morning for Krishna and the day for our work. But generally when we try to use Hare Krishna as a filler throughout the day, then it causes frustration. If you are sure that God is in control, first call out to God and ask for help and then leave the day, then God will help you. But if we think, God, you help me throughout the day, right? But what did you do for God? So Krishna is saying, first remember me in the morning. So Prabhupada taught us that morning we wake up and we chant Hare Krishna. Another aspect is this, you have 24 hours, everyone has 24 hours. Some way of division has to be done. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our acharyas, he says 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for work, and 8 hours for Krishna. 8 3s are good at mathematics. You still know your multiplication tables. 8 3s are 24. So find out your 8 hours for the body, your own personal, body. What do you do that in that? You sleep, you take shower, then you eat. For all that, keep 8 hours of your day. Then 8 hours for your work, and then 8 hours for the soul that you are. So for the soul, in the soul category, you put 8 hours is you chant for 2 hours, you study Prabhupada books in that. But the problem is, the world has convinced us unless you sleep for 10 hours, 12 hours, right, you will be sick. That's not the case. Ayurveda says you just 6 hours of sleep is sufficient for the body. But if you need more, we can take more, but don't reduce Krishna time. Try to keep the Krishna time intact. Because no matter how much, like I was telling him also, no matter how much we become successful in this world, any moment, anything can happen. Right? And the boat of our life will get rocked so bad it can capsize anytime. So if we are sure that no matter how much I try to balance, right, I'm sure I'm trying to balance it, but any moment I'll be asked to get down. हो गया तुम्हारा life खत्म हो गया, नीचे उतरो. If that's the case, then how much should I honestly work hard in this area? I better take out time for Krishna. So either 2 hours in the morning every day, that is one understanding. 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. Divide your day like that. And you could say in the weekend, I can give more time also. Yes.
So probably I thought it was like how to develop like absolute trust in Krishna. So what I personally face is that like sometimes when I'm chanting when it's good, but sometimes there is like a force which pulls me away like very well from chanting, like it's just want to get rid of it. And I believe sometimes it comes out of like either arrogance or resentment. And I actually like it's related to the fact that I do not have absolute trust in Krishna. So what's the process to
Okay.
develop that?
Have you ever seen a rocket launch? Seen a rocket launch? Have you ever have a bike for yourself? A bike?
Yeah.
Like a moped?
No, it's not a bicycle.
You've seen that in India?
Yeah, yes.
मेरे पापा की अवंती कितनी तेज चलती. ऐसा ऐड आता था हमारे ज़माने में. मेरे पापा की अवंती कितनी तेज चलती. Like India, we have the Hero bike, Hero Honda bikes, and Suzuki bikes and all. उस बाइक को अगर ऐसे खड़ा कर दिया और एक्सीलेटर ज़्यादा किया तो ऊपर जाएगी क्या? नहीं जाएगी. पक्का? It not go up. Why does the rocket go up? Sorry? This one also is designed to move ahead, right? So it should go up. The bike also should go up.
But the rocket is like that, to be standing.
तो मैं बाइक को ऐसा खड़ा कर देता हूँ ना, तब भी नहीं जाएगा वो, ऐसे ही जाएगा.
पावर उसका ऐसे.
पावर है हमारे यूज सकते हैं.
It has the force to propel the rocket up.
हाँ, उसको सिंपल हिंदी में बोलते हैं, उसके पीछे आग लगी. जब वैसे हमारा रॉकेट स्पिरिचुअलिटी का कब जाएगा जब पीछे आग लगेगी, राइट? जब पीछे आग लगेगी ना जिस दिन, उस दिन बहुत तगड़ा जाएगा वो, है ना? पीछे आग लगने का मतलब क्या है? You have such association. You are so serious about practice, right? But उसके बाद एक और रॉकेट लॉन्च में खासियत है. By the time the rocket goes up, you will see some things are thrown off. What are those? What are those?
Boosters.
Not fuels.
Booster
Cylinders.
rockets.
Fuel cylinders. If the rocket doesn't drop those fuel cylinders, the rocket cannot reach the velocity that it's expected to. Right?
Similarly, in our spiritual practice, we have some empty cylinders, attachments in this world. We have to drop. Unless we drop those empty cylinders, attachment to empty cylinders, our spiritual practice doesn't become that serious. We sometimes we think, I will drag everything. मैं जैसा था वैसा रहूँगा, और उसके भक्ति भी चलना चाहिए. कुछ चीजें empty cylinders. That you have to identify yourself. This is empty cylinder. Like one boy was telling me, probably unless I sleep at 10 and I have to sleep till 9 in the morning. Right? इसके बिना मैं भक्ति नहीं कर सकता. Then I had to tell, your empty cylinder is this extra sleep. Drop it. You don't need this. So आधा घंटा कम किया, थोड़ा और आधा घंटा कम किया. He wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He understood. 5 घंटा बेड पे पड़े क्या हो रहा था उसे? What productivity out of it? Just mode of ignorance. So we find our empty cylinders. You'll find sometimes your empty cylinders are your friends. They are pulling you behind. They don't want you to become serious. You have to understand this friendship I have dragged quite a long now. They are empty cylinders. They have to be dropped. They cannot understand spirituality and the serious and the need of it. Doesn't mean that I get dragged with them. I cannot. So you have to identify your empty cylinders which stop you. And another thing is, there is certain spiritual practice we may have done in last work that has brought us to this point. Then what do? It's like India में क्या करते हैं ना, आप यहाँ पे नहीं कर सकते ऐसा. इंडिया में क्या करते हैं, जो हाईवे पे रहते हैं ना, वो साइकिल वाला रहता है, उसको स्पीड चाहिए अभी, तो वो क्या करता है, ट्रक हाथ नहीं पकड़ता है, ट्रक को पकड़ता है. वो ट्रक को पकड़ता है तो ट्रक की स्पीड से भागता है अभी, राइट? वैसा आपको आपका ट्रक ढूंढना पड़ेगा. Who is that devotee from my inspiration? एक प्रभुपाद का ट्रक था, कितनों को लेके आगे बढ़े देखो. Whoever caught Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, hold on to my dhoti. I will take you back home, back to God. So if you can catch such a person, आपका स्पीड बढ़ जाएगा. And catching that person means following the instruction of that person. I will told to do this, no matter what my mind says. However my mind may cry, I will follow the instruction of Guru. Then your speed, then see what speed you get. Right?
जी
पहुंच गए? Really? हम आए तो सारी बसेस बाहर जा रही. हम आए तो गुलिस्ता खाली हो गया.
अनवांटेड चीजें बाहर जा रही हैं. और भी आचार्य आए कि उन्होंने इतना रास्ता दिखाया, पर हम भी वो आई विल यूज दैट टेक्निकल वर्ड बेशर्म हो जाते हैं. हम वैसे ही काम करते हैं जैसे हमें करना है. एक सुनने के लिए सुन लिया कई बार और फिर छोड़ देते हैं. लाइक ये केस हो गया. और एक या फिर सुन के फिर हमें फॉल्स प्राइड आ जाती है कि हम थोड़ा सा एडवांस हो गए.
फर्स्ट थिंग इज यू हियर अगेन एंड अगेन एंड अगेन. जो भूलने का जो आदत है, इसको बार बार श्रवण करना पड़ेगा. एवरी सैटरडे भागवतम क्लास है. प्रभुपाद ने कहा एवरीडे भागवतम क्लास होना चाहिए. नित्यम भागवत सेवा. तो वो उसका वो जो स्पिरिचुअल मेमोरी का जो लॉस होता है ना हमारा, उसको बार बार उसको रिफ्रेश करते रहना चाहिए. वो होता है ना आपका राम वाला रिफ्रेश ज्यादा होते रहना चाहिए. वो कृष्ण कथा का रिफ्रेश करते रहो. Then other thing is like you are saying कि हमको प्राइड आ जाता है. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Vasudev the leper, said because Mahaprabhu he met Vasudev and he was so touched by his bhakti. But what was Vasudev's condition? This person was he had leprosy, and the kind of leprosy where there were pus all over his body, and the pus was so bad there were worms in it. So Mahaprabhu went and embraced him, and all his leprosy went away. And Vasudeva was crying. Why was he crying? Why did you do this to me? Now I've become beautiful, everyone will appreciate me, and I'll get pride. So Mahaprabhu told him, if you continuously chant Hare Krishna, then pride will not touch you. So chanting Hare Krishna, like I said, hear regularly. But when you're chanting, we hear Krishna's name. What happens that by hearing,
that hearing, that mantra goes and works on our mind, and all the dirt of our mind goes away. So hearing regularly, and especially another thing Prabhupada would say was, if you still feel that no, it's not sticking, share it with others. You've heard something, just tell some devotees, tell some people. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we today went for a small yatra, a bus full of devotees, right? And we made an attempt to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to chant Hare Krishna, to do Kirtan and Harinam and take Prashadam, right? So everyone likes to go for such yatras, right? So there are various kinds of yatras, names of yatras that we have heard of. Very famous is, very soon you all are going to have it in Calgary. That is Rath Yatra. That is one yatra. Then every year we do something called as Jhulan Yatra, where Radha and Krishna sit on a jhula. Then in India we say Char Dham Yatra. Right? Then there is Mahaprabhu's Dakshin Bharat Yatra. Right? Right? So there is one yatra that Krishna mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says Sharira Yatra Cha Abhite. This is also one yatra for the soul, that we all accept this body and then we all go in this Sharira Yatra. Right? So everyone loves to go for yatras. Right? So travel, holidays, outing. Going to spiritual places is not a holiday, right? It was a holiday, but we made it spiritual by chanting and dancing and doing kirtans and the lectures and discussion on Bhagavatam, right? So generally when people go for holidays, their purpose is to enjoy. We also went out today, but our purpose was to go closer to Krishna. So similarly, when Sharira Yatra, that we are living in this Sharira, this body, Atma is living, we have to also conduct this yatra. This yatra should be such that it can take us closer to Krishna. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, once pastime comes where all the Brajavasis, then Dwarkavasis, Mathuravasis, so many sages, everyone, there's a solar eclipse and everyone comes to Kurukshetra. Right? They all come for yatra there. For what? To take bath at Kurukshetra. This Kurukshetra is in the Gita also begins with this verse, Kurukshetra, Dharma Kshetri, Kurukshetri. Right? So when everyone is there, Krishna, when he sees the sadhus, when he sees the sages, Krishna recites a verse there. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke svadhi kalatra dhishubhauma ijjati. Yattirtha buddhi salilena karhechit janeshvabhigneshu sa eva gokharaha. Krishna, here saying Yasyatma buddhi kunapeti dhatuke. One who thinks that what is my identity? My identity is this body which is made up of three dhatu, kapha, vata and pitta. Yasyatma buddhi, जिसकी बुद्धि इतनी है जो अपने आप को शरीर समझता है, कौन सा शरीर, which body? The body made up of three dhatu, kapha, vata, pitta. Yasyatma buddhi kunapeti dhatuke swadhi, the land of birth to be worshipable, right? And swadhi kalatra adishu, and considers one's wife and children and family to be one's own, right? Yattirtha buddhi, now he talks about yatra. When we go for tirtha yatra, Krishna says those who think tirtha means some water flowing at some place, जहां जाके नहा कर आएंगे. Yattirtha buddhi salilena karhichit. Krishna says they are compared to a cow or an ass. Sa eva gokharaha. Why a cow? Because generally it is seen that when the cow gives birth to a dead calf, the cow refuses to give milk. So what will the milkman do? He will make a calf out of grass and then keep it in front of the cow, and the cow starts giving milk. Body. Right? My calf is the body, so not the soul. And another example, another thing that Krishna is saying is
or compared to an ass, a donkey. Back in India, the donkey is a very condemned animal, right? Why does the donkey work hard? Even the donkey doesn't know. The donkey keeps on working hard, very hard. Right? The donkey gets to eat some little grass, which is all dry grass, at the end of the day after working so hard for the washerman, and the donkey is satisfied. At least घास काट के तो दिया, मुझे चबाना नहीं पड़ा. Right? One time the other donkey said, "Why are you working so hard?" And this donkey said, "Actually, I hope to get a carrot." Right? My master, he will put a stick on my head, and in front of the stick is dangling carrot. After a whole day's hard work, I get carrot. Do you get to eat carrot? So for one carrot, this donkey was working. Then they still saw this donkey working hard. So all the other donkeys went, "Now what is the new reason for you?" He said, "You do not know. I have a very noble reason for working hard." So this donkey said, "Actually, I was one time tied very close to the house, and I heard this washerman, he was shouting at his daughter, 'अगले बार गलती की ना तुम्हारी शादी उस गधे से कर दूंगा.' And the donkey said, "I am waiting. Next mistake, and I'll get married to the washerman's daughter." The donkey keeps on working hard. Krishna is saying, what is there? Such yatra where somebody takes Tirtha yatra, where there was some water. What is more important, Krishna says there, is to meet the sadhus. What is more important is to chant the names of God, chant the names of Krishna. That is real Tirtha yatra. Right? So we may go on many such yatras, Kartik yatras, or you may go to Sadhu Sangha. All these yatras are meant for what? These yatras are meant for completing one yatra successfully. That is called Antim Yatra. That also yatra we all have to pass through. All these yatras are there to prepare our consciousness to finish that Antim Yatra. How to finish that Antim Yatra? Tukaram Maharaj, who is a great saint in Maharashtra, Prabhupada speaks about him in the introduction to the Bhagavatam. He would say, "एवढ्यासाठी केला होता हा अट्टहास, शेवटचा 30 गोड निघो." So in Marathi he is saying, yes, I put so much effort in chanting Hare Krishna, in following all the rules and regulations, but for what? He says, the last day, Antim Yatra, शेवटचा दिवस, आखरी दिन मीठा हो. That my last day in this world will be sweet. So somebody asked Tukaram Maharaj, "What do you mean by last day should be sweet? Gulab jamun खाने की इच्छा है क्या आखिरी दिन में?" He says, "गोड़ तुझे रूप, गोड़ तुझे नाम." Krishna, your form is so beautiful and your name is so beautiful. May I remember your form, may I remember your name, sweet name, when I am leaving this body. That way, my Antim Yatra would be successful. So what is the purpose of a yatra? Purpose of yatra is twofold. The purpose of yatra is to take us closer to Krishna, and the purpose of yatra is to finish the Jivan Yatra in such a way that no more Sharira Yatra. Right? So this yatra, we can consider it successful if we all are experiencing that we have gone closer to Krishna, we have gone closer to the holy name, we have gelled more as devotees, as Bhakta Sangha. And generally every yatra we ask devotees, what is your sankalpa? So when you have done a spiritual activity and we have got some inspiration, we should quickly make the best out of that inspiration. And the best inspiration is that we can go deeper in our chanting of Hare Krishna, or whatever rounds we were chanting. If we can increase that chanting, then you can consider that yatra to be successful.